You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 158. How to be a better boss to your VA so they can make the magic happen with Tasha Booth. If you're a business owner or entrepreneur who wants actionable solutions to maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. I'm looking forward to bringing this episode to you because you get to meet our guest, Tasha Booth. Tasha began her journey in the online business space 5 years ago as a virtual assistant when she decided she was tired of living an ordinary life on someone else's terms. As her business grew, so did her commitment to helping others figure out how to make the life they craved a reality. Now, whether she's leading her team of 18 to support established coaches and course creators as a founder and CEO of the Launch Guild Agency, coaching virtual support professionals as they start and scale their own business, or hosting the How She Did It podcast for VAs, OBMs, and project managers, Tasha is always helping other entrepreneurs live more fully in their zone of genius. When she's not supporting her team of 18, she's proudly spending her time as an Air Force wife to her husband, Scott, stepmom to Grace and Meredith, and working from home dog mom to Stanley and Boomer. I'm really looking forward to you meeting Tasha. I have met her personally through some mutual friends and follow each other on social media and have definitely seen what she's up to. And I think she's going to be an amazing guest to shed some spotlight on how we can just be better bosses to our VAs, because ultimately, when we have that great team culture and that we are showing up as the leaders we want, it will have a huge impact on our business. Now, this is kind of a two-part series, meaning that last week's episode 157, was all about the mindset of hiring and what does that process look like and why do you need to push through even when it feels hard. If you have not already listened to episode 157, head on over. Hiring might need to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince. And now, let's get to the straight talk. Hello, Tasha. Welcome to Productivity Straight Talk.
Thanks for having me.
I am so excited about this conversation. We were talking a little bit before we hit go. And, I want our listeners to first hear a little bit about you in your own words. So I introduced you the official, but you are so fun to follow online. So tell us a little bit about you that we may not know.
Well, the big thing is that I have a degree in musical theater. So my background is totally different than what I currently do. But yeah, I did musicals internationally and nationally for over 12 years. I was in the international tour of Hairspray. I've done Aida the musical a bunch of times. And I, to this day, love musicals and take a karaoke break every single day.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, so that's probably why it's fun to watch you. I've seen you do dance parties in your living room and show off the new outfit of the day and all that fun stuff. So, okay, yes. Now this makes sense. Awesome. All right, so now what you do today has nothing to do with what you did in your background. How did you get here? Like, how did you begin to run a virtual agency?
Yeah, I started as a blogger and I saw a lot of people who were needing the kinds of services that I was learning as a blogger. So, a lot of email management, creating landing pages, those sorts of things. So I figured I'd just make a little extra money on the side, while I still had a full-time job at first. And then all of a sudden it just really clicked and my business took off really, really quickly to the point of where I left my full-time job after about 8 months of becoming a virtual assistant. But the problem, it was really, really fast. The problem that I saw was that I don't believe that anybody can be a jack of all trades and do it all really, really well. And so it became much easier for me to hire a team and be able to vet a lot of different people with a lot of different complementary skill sets in order to be able to help our clients in a lot of different ways, rather than it just all being me and me being the only person that could support them. So that's kind of how the agency was built and the reason why it was built. And the other reason, honestly, was just that, a lot of people build or start their businesses, their online businesses, for the time freedom. And I wasn't feeling that as the only person who could support them, as the one that, like, if I went away, their inbox didn't get checked. So I felt bad about taking a vacation. So I didn't want to feel that anymore. So having a team of 20, which is how big my team is now, really helps that we can all support each other.
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize it was a team of 20.
Yes.
And if that wasn't enough, so then you have another side of your business too. And so tell us briefly about that.
Yeah, so I also coach and mentor virtual assistants, online business managers, and project managers who are growing and scaling their own business. So that could also be that they want to stay a solopreneur, but they want to make more in their business, or that they want to build an agency similar to mine.
Okay. All right. This is awesome. So for clarity though, if a business owner is listening and they're like, my VA needs training, it's not that type of training, right? Like we wouldn't send you, or we would send a VA to get additional training?
Yeah, great question. Yeah. So I don't train the VAs on the skill sets. I train them on the business of being a virtual assistant, on how to run their businesses.
Okay. Love that. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarity. I was almost getting ready to say, hey, that would be amazing. Here's somebody who does that. But okay, awesome. Okay, so the reason I brought you on is because we had been chatting back and forth, and I was like, I bet it would be a fun conversation if I asked Tasha to give us some straight talk on how we can be better bosses. Like, how can we work better with the VAs and make sure it's a great relationship, we're communicating well, that we don't have our VA saying, I wish that person would get the together, right? I mean, like, sometimes the VA is probably like, if they would just do what? The blank. That's what we want to talk about today. If they would just do blank, this would run so much effectively and efficiently.
Yeah.
What is like some of your top tips that you wish you could just tell every business owner?
Yeah. So first of all, let me say that now, because I have such a large team, I feel like I am in a unique spot because I see it from the business owner's point of view, and I also see it from the VA's point of view, right?
Right. Exactly.
So a lot of times I'm doing some of the business owner things, and I have to pause and stop myself and put my VA hat back on and be like, if I were the VA, how would I respond to this? What would I need as the VA? So I think one of the big things comes down to communication and communication styles. A lot of times business owners, CEO types are visionaries. And so we tend to be quick starts. We tend to have a lot of ideas and want to execute on all the ideas at the exact same time.
Right. And clearly don't see the details, right?
Don't see the details. And it's okay that you don't see the details. Like, that is your VA's responsibility, your OBM's responsibility. But sometimes because we don't think of the details, we think, oh, this is going to be easy. Oh, it's just a landing page. It's never just a landing page, right? It's never just like, hey, can you build this landing page? There's always 20 other things to do. So I think being open to your VA being able to say to you, okay, I need more information, or the best thing would be that you give as much information as you can think of on the front end, but just know that if you come to us and say like, hey, I need a landing page, there's going to be other questions that we're going to need to ask you so that we can execute that well.
Right. And then, this happens a lot, right? Then the business owner is off to the 12 other landing page ideas they had, and they're like, how come it's not done? But in their head, they checked it off their list as soon as they delegated it out. And so there's always a expectation, right? Like the communication of like what can happen in a certain amount of time.
Right, exactly. And also understanding that you are probably not paying for that VA's time full time, right? They're not an employee of yours, which means that they do have other clients. So a lot of times what I see is that things look like an emergency to that client because they had the idea and they want to execute it on right away. But for that VA, they're also servicing a bunch of other clients and supporting them as well. Yeah. And so just know that the turnaround time is not because the VA doesn't want to do a great job for you. It's just that they are juggling 10 other projects as well that all feel like emergencies to those other business owners.
Right. So I would assume that that's a great two-way conversation. So if the business owner is just like throwing out a task, not particularly delegating it with detail. Then if the VA asks more questions because they understand the scope of work and they can clarify expectations, that you can be open to that you can hear it, you can give them what they need, and then you can adjust your expectations based on that two-way conversation.
Definitely. Okay. And I think the other thing, when I put my business owner hat on and I found myself doing the same thing to my team, is what really helped in that was for me to, anytime I had a new idea, tell my team, okay, I have this new idea. What would be a great day for me to assign this task to you? Like, what feels good to you? And them being able to say, you know what, I'm really busy this Wednesday, but I can take care of this Thursday. That makes them feel like I appreciate them and understand that they have other things in their lives going on as well.
Yes. I actually have found that difficult myself. So I have 2 VAs and they work their own time frame, and I have a rhythm of when they work, right? Like, and I'm not always aware of when they're working. In fact, I think I by accident hired 2 night owls.
We've got a number of those on our team too.
Right? I'm like, hold on, you're like on the East Coast and I'm still getting stuff at midnight my time. I can see whatever's had come through. And so I asked that question too, as like, mostly because of this. By the time I give them something, I have forgotten the 9 other things I gave them, right? And so the way that I handle this is that when I do task them or I'm on a Zoom call, is we're both looking at our project management system and negotiating a date and priority so that I'm clear of the 9 other things. They're clear and they actually have an idea of how many hours they're going to work between now and 1 week from now, right?
Right. Yeah. I love that. I definitely love that. That's a great system. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so one other thing that I do for a hack too is I actually purposely have to slow myself down. And so when I have a meeting with my VA, I first get an idea of what's still on the board. So we'll look at like what's outstanding so that I can figure out how much can I throw at them without overwhelming them before we get off the Zoom call.
Yes. I totally love that too.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So we've communicated and yes. It's two-way conversation about workload, deadlines, things like that, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's another tip. We have in our team a team onboarding packet, right? And we did this because we found that we were repeating ourselves over and over for some things. And that also there were just some like links and stuff like that our VAs needed to come back to time and time again. So setting them up for success and also helping me not have to feel like I'm repeating myself constantly really helped. So some of the things that we have in that onboarding packet are like the Zoom link for our team meetings is in that onboarding packet. The how to get into your branded email, your company email, and what I would like the signature piece to look like, right? Those sorts of things. Those first tasks that you need them to do or to check off or to send you before they get started. And then here's my favorite part: a how to work with me section is also in there.
So let me be clear: the onboarding package is from the owner to the VA or from the VA to the owner?
It's actually from the owner to the VA. And
okay.
Yeah. And this does not have to be like all pretty and cute. Like we finally, designed ours in Canva and everything, but we started with a Google Doc. So it's really for informational purposes only, basically. Yeah. But the how to work with me piece. So you want to be really brutally honest in how best to work with your VA, with your support pro, because once again, they want to do a good job, but there's probably some things that are just like, maybe not deal breakers for you, but just like would frustrate you, right? Or make you reply slower. So for example, I have adult ADD and I don't process long text, like long emails very well. So I tell my VAs right up front, like, please do not send me a long email that has like everything you ever wanted to tell me in it, because I won't read it. I just won't. But
that is great.
If you give me bullet points of like, here are the questions that I have, here's what I got done, that I can process. I also let them know that Tuesdays and Thursdays are really busy on my calendar. So if they need to contact me, if they have a question, and they ask me on a Tuesday and Thursday, they probably won't hear back from me. If it's an emergency, either contact my operations manager or try to reach me on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? So little things like that give them a clue into like, oh, Tasha's not ignoring me, because it's a Tuesday and I didn't answer and I didn't respond back. Yeah. She's just really busy. Or like, should I send Tasha this long email? probably not, because she's not going to read it.
Okay. So it's kind of like asking the business owner to like lay out all their quirks.
Yes. All their quirks. Yeah.
So,
just be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is really good. Okay. I want to hear some more examples. But as you said that, I'm thinking of so I have one VA, Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
She remains nameless by last name because everybody would want her. She's amazing. But she's been with me for, I would say, about 6 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So very, very long time. My second VA is newer, and I've had other help over the years as well. Actually, whomever is helping, my audio editor, things like this is always my conversation. So I'm very direct. I will not say hello in an email, message, text message. And it may actually sound like I'm being rude, but I'm not. I'm just going to tell you what I need to tell you, and I'm moving on with my next thing. But if you get on with me on Zoom, I want to talk the whole time, and I'm very personable. But I had realized that form of communication that is my natural go-to can really throw someone off that like really likes that personal connection and like niceties. And so that's helped keep relationships like, hey, don't take it personal. This is how I am. This is how I communicate. Is that going to be a problem?
Yes. I love that. We actually have a couple clients that are repeat clients, come back to us for projects over and over again. And there's one that I'm thinking about in particular that's very like that on like Voxer, or even she does really well in like emails. Like her personality shines through in emails, which is kind of, unique in that. But like Voxer or Zoom, she's very to the point because she always has like a bagillion other things going on.
Yeah.
And so when she came back to us for a different project, we had a different project manager on that. And we said right away, like, just so you know, this client is super nice. She's just very direct and to the point. And so don't take it personal, because it's not about you. You didn't do anything wrong. She doesn't hate you. It's just what's going on in her brain.
Yeah. I think that's really important. So I would assume there's other things for a business owner to consider, like how do you want to be communicated to, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because I know, like, once again, going back to the visionary thing, a lot of business owners aren't great with email. They're also probably not great with project management a lot of times. So what we found is a lot of times we'll set up something like Slack for communication mostly, but also to remind them of the tasks that they're responsible for, right? So a lot of times we can't necessarily expect that they're going to be in Asana or in Trello or ClickUp all the time looking at their tasks. So if those tasks are coming up pretty quickly, we like to reiterate it and just take those top 3 and be like, here's what you need to really be focused on and looking at right now today. And so if you know you're a person like that, just mention it to the VA. Once again, they're happy to do that because it's going to be easier for them to have you get it done on time rather than like, oh, this didn't get done, and so now they can't do their thing.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. So like my preference is my team is not in my email, right? Like I don't want tasks. I don't want communication. I don't want any of it in my email. So we use Slack. Emergencies is Voxer. And then everything else is managed through our project management, right? And I am a unique bird. Like I love my project management system. I know I'm not a normal business.
You're not.
No, but to just circle back to your recommendation, how valuable is it to have someone that is sorting through your project management and is able to pull it out and say, hey, over here, here's your top 3. Like I could imagine that people are listening right now saying, I wish I had that fairy godmother in my life that could do that, right? Like all the things that are going on, can someone help just focus me on the top things I need to look at today?
Yeah, absolutely. And Jay Lorraine, my director of operations, and we now have a daily huddle for that exact reason, because she's like, so I don't think you've looked at Asana for like all week. And I'm like, no, I totally haven't. So now she's like, how about we just meet and like we do, 15 minutes in, out, done. She's like, here's what you need. Like, here's a question that I have that I need an answer to. Here's what is on your list for today. And it's so helpful.
Okay, so I do love my project management, but I'm an external processor. And I think a lot of business owners, visionaries, idea people we can talk faster than we can write or figure out how to put a task in a task management system. And so those daily huddles, I have found even for my clients to be game changer. Like 10 or 15 minutes, you get to download your head. They get to organize it, put it in the system, send it back to you in priority order. Like that is magical for productivity. So if you don't have your person, we need to talk about that too. But I mean, that person can really meet you where you're at and your strengths and then come alongside you, right? And do all the detail and the organizing and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. This is exciting.
Yeah. So here's my last tip for you, I think, that I have around how to work with a VA or any kind of a team member. So I think being organized and having kind of a sense of what you want accomplished first before you hire that person is so important. And the way that I suggest that business owners do this is to start with a time inventory in terms of what are they doing in their business day in and day out. So if you do a time inventory where you're tracking what you do and how long it takes you for like 5 days, then you can kind of look at, okay, what are the things that can be outsourced? Not necessarily that I want to outsource first, but what can be outsourced? What doesn't need to be done necessarily by me exactly? And then you want to star those things, usually a top 3 things in terms of what needs to come off your plate like right away. So a lot of times those are the things that either you don't feel like are in your zone of genius or even in your zone of competence. You just procrastinate on all the time, right? That's usually a clear indication of like, okay, I need to get these 3 things off of my plate. And then even before you have that team member, you can start just like doing a Loom video of like, here's how I organize my social media or schedule my social media or create this type of graphic. Then that team member, once they're hired, has something to start and understand the process. You don't have to create the full formal SOP for them if that feels overwhelming to you and to your brain. You can just do that first part and get that way they can have something to start with. Because what I've seen before is that a lot of times when things go south with a client VA relationship, it's because the client feels underserved because they haven't done the work in the beginning. So they're like, I don't even know what to give you, like I don't even know what support I actually need. And so if you can get organized in terms of like knowing what support you actually need, that can really help.
Yeah. I mean, also that it ensures you hire the right person with the right skill set, right? And this seems like kind of like basic, but it's not, Tasha. I hear you because here's what I know, and the business owner says is like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so frustrated. Let me just fix the problem by hiring somebody. And they don't even know what problem's getting fixed. And then they're frustrated that all their problems weren't fixed, right?
Yes.
It's just like this misalignment of, again, expectations. So owning, getting really clear. I'm dying to know what some of the most popular things are that are first like prioritizing those 3. Like what is the most popular you see as like first projects?
Yeah. So inbox management, client onboarding and like processes and workflows. So we do a lot of like either Dubsado cleanups or Dubsado setups. So a lot of process and systems pieces, and then social media management or just social media scheduling. So, they've already created the content and then we go in and schedule it for them. Those are usually probably the top 3.
Yeah. And email, big time waster for sure. Yeah. And I mean, if you have somebody working in your inbox, they can help you, but as the business owner, you still have to be in your inbox. I mean, you still have to have some accountability and organization, and like you need to show up and be in there, but just a lot less because someone's helping you out.
Exactly. Correct? Yes, totally.
That's great. Okay. So what are some things that they would be able to hire a VA for that you think may not be so common? So when you say a launch, right? What, because that's what you guys specialize in, Launch Guild, right? So what are the types of things a business owner could hire out that could really, really help their business growth?
Yeah. So a lot of times business owners don't launch their thing, don't launch their course, not because they don't have the idea, but because they're not sure how to execute that idea. So we can do anything from like the actual landing pages and all that stuff. But what I see a lot of times that business owners really need support in is all the back end tech pieces. So once somebody pays, what do they get next, right? What tag is needed on the back end so that they get the right product or they're enrolled in the right course. All of those little pieces that you don't need to be an expert in, but we need to be an expert in order to execute it for you. So that's usually a lot of the times what the hang up is. One of the things that a lot of business owners don't even realize, especially if it's their first launch, we can support them on their actual webinar. So a lot of times what our clients will have us do is we'll just be in the chat, being able to man the chat and, put that sales link when it's time or put that workbook link in when it's time, and being able to help and support them in the chat so that they can really just show up and be amazing at their webinar.
Incredibly focused in their zone.
But to answer your first question in terms of what a virtual assistant can do in general, I think that a virtual assistant, really the term has become an umbrella term for basically anything that exists online. Right? So you've got virtual assistants that support real estate agents. You've got virtual assistants that support lawyers, like all these virtual assistants that have specific skill sets, but the overarching thing in it is that they all work remotely. So you can really find a virtual assistant that works most of the time or 100% in your niche and is specifically working in a lot of the systems that you need support in and day out.
Right. Okay. So I have a question. Not all business owners that listen to the podcast are like online business owners where they're doing launches, right? We have a lot of interior designers and realtors, just like you said, attorneys. They're all owning their own small business. Do you recommend that they find like their first VA that's kind of a general VA, or do you recommend them hiring per project and like specialty? What is some advice you would give a business owner that is new to working with VAs?
I think your first VA should probably be a general VA. So what that means is that they're really, really great with most things admin.
Yeah.
But what that doesn't mean is that they are a unicorn. I hate when I see that term, a unicorn, because as we know, unicorns don't exist in real life, right? Yeah. So you're looking for something or someone who doesn't actually exist, which means that your expectations are going to be too high and they can't meet your expectations because it's impossible. So my suggestion is that you focus in on, okay, what are the things that I really need support in every single day over and over again, and find a general VA who can check most of those boxes. And then that person can be your person for most things. And then you can hire people for some projects when you need a project, something. So for example, an admin VA may not be great with graphic design. They may not be a graphic designer, but what if you could hire a graphic designer for a project base, get some really great templates that VA can then customize for social media or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So there's ways to work it so that your general VA can assist you most of the time.
Yeah, I love that. I remember when I first hired Crystal, one of my first questions to her was how much she enjoyed writing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't even at that time that writing was like a big part of my business, but I knew that it was my weakest point. And so I wanted to hire. She had administrative strength. She was coming on as a general VA, but like I also wanted a general VA that was really strong in the skill set of writing because that's where I was weakest. And I would just sharing that tidbit of a story is like, look and be really honest with yourself. Like, where are your weakest points that you can't serve your business? My business needed someone to look at everything Amber writes. Like that was clear that like someone needed to be the buffer between my ideas and me just like brain dumping and like putting it out to the world. And so I was able to find someone with general. And then the other thing with that is because she's been with me for so long, she's also grown up with me. So as my business has needed new things, she's gotten training, she's gotten more experience. Like we were laughing about the evolution of her graphic abilities. I'm like, you're amazing.
Love it.
Did we see what that looked like, 6 years ago? Like, and I know she's listening to this podcast right now. This is funny. But like, you too can look at someone to meet you where you're at. But when you're hiring, my advice would be is to see, do they have the ability to grow with you and adapt and want to learn new things, because that could be a huge asset in your business as well.
I love that. Such great advice. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right, Tasha. So thank you so much. Do you have anything last you would love to tell us business owners about being our best for our VAs and our teams?
No, I think communication, like just going back to the communication, that is the hugest thing. And just know that your VA wants to do a great job. So give them feedback, and coach them along as much as you can. And just let them know when they're doing a great job and when you need them to improve on something too. And like that can go so far.
Okay, I love that advice. I'm going to repeat it. You said just know your VA wants to help you. Mm-hmm. Because they wouldn't have gotten into this career field if they weren't helpers in their heart. Like they really want to help. So if we can just assume they have the best interests and intentions, then us as business owners can take ownership and responsibility of communicating clearly, having realistic expectations, and one last thing that didn't come up, actually, I was thinking about this, is consistency in showing up for your team.
Yes.
Like, y'all can't have meetings. This is me straight talking to you. You can't have meetings set with your team and then just go MIA.
Thank you.
They are literally waiting for you. You are so busy. You're running 100 miles an hour. They're behind the scenes doing all the magic. And they're thinking, oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to be able to get my questions answered. I'm going to be able to have direction on this thing. And then you cancel the meeting. Mm-hmm. You're not giving them the basics of what they need to be your superstar on your team. So show up for them. Give them what they need on a consistent basis. That's my straight talk for
Love it.
My one tip for them. Okay, Tasha? Like I see this so often is that business owners downgrade the importance of being there for their team. They should be able to just run and do everything because they're mind readers.
Yeah, which we are not. Yeah. And you have to remember that your business inside and out, especially when they're new to your business or newer, they're not going to know your business as well, right? So they're going to have more questions and everything, which is understandable. But yeah, you do need to show up for them and to be able to support them.
Okay, awesome. All right, Tasha, thank you so much for being here. If my listeners want to find out more about your agency and connect with you, where can they do that?
Yes, they can find me at thelaunchguild.com, and that's got all of my social media links and everything. So that's the best place.
All right, we'll find you there. Thank you so much for being here, and what a great interview and some straight talk about how to be good to our team. Thanks.
Thanks.
I have loved having you listen to this episode of Productivity Straight Talk. I am so glad that you got to listen in on my conversation with Tasha, because her and I were able to really jam out about some best practices and really relevant tips on how we can show up as better leaders for our team so that overall everyone is happy on the team, our productivity is better, we get to retain really, really good help. And my hope for you is that you're able to take away 1 or 2 nuggets that you can implement immediately with your team, and then also some ideas on how you can implement over time to really step into your role as a leader in your business. I want to remind you, no change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So as you were listening to Tasha and I jam out and you were shaking your head and you're like, yes, yes, yes. I want you to take those yeses and put them into action immediately into your business so that you can see the results. All right. If you have not done so, I am going to invite you to join me in my free Take Back Your Time mini training. I would love for you to go on and grab that. It's an on-demand training where I'm sharing with you how to take back your time, and you will reclaim 30 minutes each and every day. All right, you can grab that by going to theproductivityspecialist.com/take back your time. So that's my straight talk for you today. Until next time, have a productive week.